read Moby Dick because they made you read it for class? Can anybody make head nor tails out of the language in Moby Dick? It's like a King James Bible, only upside down. Really thick language. The piece we're going to play is Of Sailors and Whales by a venerable composer who's no longer with us, W. Francis Macbeth. He was very gifted at writing programmatic pieces like this one. This was actually written for the California All-State Band 35 years ago. So it's a commission by CPDA for the big event. How many of you submitted auditions for All-State? All right, I've submitted them all, unless you did it somewhere between this afternoon and now. Yeah, so that's great. I think they're all good candidates that are sending things in, and they'll get that opportunity to maybe play a new commission or certainly work with a great collegiate or professional conductor. So this is 4 scenes from Melville. There's 5 in the piece. We're doing 4 of them, and each one is centered on a character. So Ishmael is the ingenue, who's the protagonist, who through whose innocent eyes we see the story take place. Queequeg is the exotic character who's Maori's from New Zealand, and he is this this duality of man character where he is primitive and can be very brutal, but he can also be gentle and loving and more open than any other character in the novel. And then there's Ahab, who wakes up in a rage and stays there. And the only change in his mood is when he gets ragier. And then the final scene, of course, is the white whale itself, the point of the piece. So this is 4 movements by W. Francis Macbeth, built around the theme of characters from Moby Dick. What is also fantastic about Macbeth, he was a master of orchestration and imitation in a good way, because he made his living writing educational music. This was a commission for a high school all-state band, after all. And the first movement of Ishmael sounds like it could be from Vaughan Williams' Sea Symphony, or does anybody know the music from Victory at Sea by Richard Rodgers? I'm showing my age. So there's this big cinematic sea music. You gotta know who John Williams is, right? So John Williams, he is channeling John Williams in the action music in the second one. And then the third and fourth, if you like the composer Shostakovich, you'll like the third and fourth, because he's just channeling the aggressive, angular energy of Shostakovich to the end. So we hope you enjoy Of Sailors and Whales.